Hello, you horrors. It's Christian Lavicum here, riffraff in the Rocky Horror Show. Time may be fleeting, but with this gang, madness has already taken control. Yes, it's time for Rants in Our Pants. Are you ready for Dawn?
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
Stacey?
I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested.
Amanda?
You know this, I just don't know if you know it.
Deanne?
I'm a dirty skunk! I'm a dirty skunk!
Really? Don't say I didn't warn you.
And welcome to another edition of Rants in Our Pants. I am Dawn. With me is Stacey.
Hi.
We're doing this like we, in a way, used to do it, where it was just the two of us. Amanda isn't here. And our guiding light, our, dare I say, driving inspiration, our anchor of sanity, the saint, the patron saint of Blase, Deanne is not here. She is probably finishing up or has already finished up her last Spartan race for the year. This would make her third, which was in Indiana this go around. She posted a video earlier today of the course, and I'm just like, good luck. But hopefully everything went well. I know she was a little nervous about it and even took up jogging, which, again, more power to her on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can't tell, I do not sound totally me, so I'm getting over a lively bout of pneumonia.
Oh.
I don't know how, don't know where I got it, but somebody decided instead of giving out donuts and sharing the love, they shared something else, so needless to say, it's hard for me to talk at length, which will probably be a godsend to Stacey. But I digress.
Not really.
Hey, I figured you got enough practice. You should be able to pick up the torch and light a candle with it if you have to.
Yep. I made sure that I brought supplies so I don't have to walk away from the desk. I got my captain here, and I got my Coca-Cola, and I think I'm going to need a drink for what we're about to talk about. So
Yeah, I wish I could, but unfortunately, the medication I'm on, it's like some steroids and all that, and if I'm allowed to have a drink, but not like a lot, and I'd rather just not drink, especially the way I feel right now. So I am having Fruity Pebbles Liquid Death because I feel like death, but that's neither here nor there.
does it taste like Fruity Pebbles?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I thought maybe at first, but it's fake sugar, number one. Number two, it just kind of tastes weird to me. It tastes like, if anything, baby aspirin, which I hate.
Yeah.
So, anyway, if I'm not sounding so lively, you now know why, folks. So, now that Stacey's getting her mood lighting set up and all that jazz, let's just jump into it. Oh, people might be wondering, where's Amanda? Well, Amanda is here, but because of the subject matter of what we're about to dive into, she's on steroids too. She doesn't need to get angry. So, I digress, but she will join us if and when we finish off with what we're talking about. So, let's just jump right into it. I feel like Philip DeFranco saying that. So, a lot has definitely happened since our last episode. One of them being, you cannot escape this story if you tried, because it's now snowballed into something of great, and I do mean great, divide, is the assassination of Charlie Kirk. If you are not familiar with Charlie Kirk, boy, you're lucky. Basically, Charlie Kirk was a right-wing conservative commentator. He was like, I think, the founder of Turning Point. Is that the name of the organization company?
I was gonna say this.
Okay, whichever. And his claim to fame, besides some of the comments he has made against minorities, LGBTQ plus, and women and left-leaning people, is he, to his credit, and this is where I will give credit where credit is due, at least the guy went out there and engaged. Who's behind you, Stacey?
Who's behind me?
I see movement and like right behind you. Like, is that a dog?
Well, I have Cooper down here, and then I'm dog sitting my boss's dog, Fergie.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I didn't freak. I didn't mean to. Hi, Fergie. I didn't mean to freak you out, make you think there's somebody in the room with you. But
hey, it's been disappearing. It's like I either have Alzheimer's or there's a ghost. So
okay. Well, anyway, back to Charlie Kirk. I'll give credit where credit is due. Like I said, he would actually invite people to debate him and open a dialogue. Whether he would accept their opinions, which, if memory serves me on the few clips I've watched, was never. But at least, I'll say this, he, at least in some essences, put his money where his mouth is. Okay? That's where I will give credit where credit is due. Now, do you remember the exact date? Because I think it's like been like 1 week, 2 days.
It was September 10th. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was
a week ago Wednesday.
Yeah, right before the anniversary of 9/11, which, So he was at a university in Utah doing his lecture, whatever he calls those things. And just after a person in the audience asked him his feelings on gun violence and mass shootings, he said gang violence, thinking, okay, I just got the drop on you, ha 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 ha. And just as he put the mic down, he was shot in the neck. I had the unfortunate, I'm not going to even say pleasure, because it's not a pleasure. Please, anyone listening and watching, do not get what I'm about to say twisted. Yeah. I will say personally, from my own heart, I don't care if I agree with you or disagree with you. If I disagree with you with the fire of a thousand suns, no one, and I mean no one, deserves that.
Right.
I mean, you could be the biggest dickhead on the planet. No one deserves to be taken out the way he did.
Yeah.
No one.
And I saw the full video, and I still can't get it out of my head. It was...
It's very haunting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Nobody deserves that.
And if memory serves me correctly, I believe his wife and kids were there.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that makes this even more vile. But when it happened, no one knew nothing. Let's be honest. The guy was still at large, and we're going to say guy because we all know now who they arrested.
Mm-hmm.
They had some people saying, I'll do it again, I'd do it again. And it turns out they were just saying it. But what makes all this the more tragic, at least from my viewpoint, everyone agreed this was horrible. But then it became worse. And by worse, I mean, as usual, and I'm going to use that term very, very broadly, as usual, you have one side condemning the act, saying how, like we just said, no one, no matter what your political beliefs are, deserves political violence like that. And then you had, yeah, you can see where it's going. You had the other side who decided immediately that this was conducted and enacted by someone from the left, like all the left people are violent. Have you seen them tree hugging people? Please. Anyway, it had to have been done by someone from the left who is taking out the voices of the right and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And to make matters worse, not to even stray too far away from where we're going, but within an hour or two of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, you had a school shooting in Colorado.
Yeah.
No one even really touched on that because we were focused on this.
Right.
Which was the irony of ironies, if you think about it, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Charlie Kirk also... No, I'm not going to say it, because, again, I'll explain why momentarily. But the fact is, no one knew anything about the shooter, the motivations, nothing. And what made all of this even more laughable was the theories. When they found a bullet casing, they said it had positive transgender stuff on it, or it had anti-fascist stuff on it. And then they showed the bullet casing itself, and these symbols they were talking about was the fucking goddamn brand of the bullet company.
Yep.
Doesn't any... I mean, forgive me, people on both sides of the equation own guns. You're telling me, though, a lot of those fucking gun masturbatory, I jerk off to my M14 on a daily basis, couldn't recognize that and call it out for what it was?
Yep.
Even I knew that, and I don't own a gun. Now, that was the first one. The second one, when they started getting better shots and the person of interest and da-da-da-da-da-da, you find out that the individual, and I'm not going to give out his name because killers don't need to be fucking given any more limelight. It's what they want.
Right.
But the killer's father turned him in. I find it funny he only turned him in after speaking to his pastor, but what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But it was the family that turned him in. And then you had Cash, I'm Thor's kid cousin, Patel.
Always looks startled on coke.
It looks like he's freaking Tony Montana's, blow garden. He's failing miserably.
Mm-hmm.
But he made it sound like he's the one, his organization's the one that found him. It's like, no, you guys didn't even have shit. I guarantee you, they probably would not have known who the killer is even now, unless the father turned him in.
Right. And I think the father, when he saw the pictures, he recognized the clothes and talked to his son.
I think it was the mom.
Or the mom, yeah.
The mom
They recognized the clothes, yeah. And
Exactly.
I've said this before. You know, you put all these pictures like the young kids out here. That's how the punks that I found that was vandalizing my house. I put the video up there. The mom reached out to me because she recognized the hoodie that he had on as one that she had bought him the Christmas before. So the mothers know the clothing. So anyways, go ahead.
Well, don't worry, folks. She does this all the time. I'm used to it. It took 18 minutes. I've been timing her. Anyway, so after the father turns him in, you got grandma coming out saying that this entire family is conservative. They don't even know a Democrat. So she doesn't think her grandson doesn't understand why he would do this. Now, I have theories, but I can't say them yet. But I have a representative who will be covering their own theories momentarily. But he gets put into custody. And of course, now the FBI is bringing out these letters, these texts, that show that he had a transgender roommate. It was the college that changed his mind and made him woke. That's why they got to bust down on the curriculum and bring in more conservative teachers. And all the while, I'm thinking in my head, what in the hell? We've escaped into guilty before innocent, or guilty before proven innocent. We've leaped into well, this is okay. And when I say this is okay, I'm referring to the assassination and murder of that Minnesota senator. They were totally fine with it. They made jokes, including, yep. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but you know who I'm talking about. So, back to current events. So now they were doing the arraignments. I don't know if it was earlier today or yesterday of the guy who assassinated him. And they got him, standing there. He's got a bulletproof vest on. And I'm thinking, who's going to take him out while he's inside an empty room? Who's going to take him out? But what kills me, and right now people are like, Dawn, you're all over the place. I'm fucking sick. Give me a break. But what kills me, besides the hypocrisy of them, making jokes of Nancy Pelosi's husband getting his head hit in the head several times with a hammer, that, like I said, the Minnesota politician who was murdered, her and her husband and their dog. What kills me about that situation is the fact that at the end of the day, someone lost a husband. Someone lost a father. Two lost a father. I may not like Charlie Kirk. I may not like what he represented or what he stood for. But at the same token, I'm not going to be like those jerkwads and celebrate. I just can't. It's not my nature to be like, well, Bios con Dios muchachos. Which was probably poor saying because, they'll probably be like, call ice. But the thing is that they can't even. They were desperate. I mean, you have the Utah governor himself saying they were hoping it was someone that was an immigrant, that it was somebody that wasn't from, here. Basically, they were praying it wasn't a white guy. And sure as shit, it was. Now, whether it has been 100% proven that this guy is or has not changed his political leanings, because they're so desperate to say that he turned woke and that's what made him violent. And I'm thinking, funny, when I'm waking up, I'm not violent. I just want coffee. But the whole thing is that they were doing everything in their power to wish it was somebody not white. At the end of the day, that's what they were hoping. And from what I'm to understand, and it was a lot. There was so much to take in. That this kid was a Nick Fuentes disciple of sorts. I never even heard of this term before. He was a groper, something. It's basically somebody who, I can't access it because I'm using my phone for this, but it's basically somebody who is like a Proud Boys supporter or something like that. I don't remember what the actual term is. If you're typing it, Stacey, I think it's spelled Groyper. So you'll have to...
Groypers. It says they are the Groyper, sometimes called the Groyper Army, are a group of alt-right white nationalists and Christian nationalist activists led by Nick Fuentes. Groypers are loosely defined group of Fuentes' followers and fans. They are named after a cartoon amphibian named Groyper, a variant of the internet meme Pepe the Frog. But I know that one of them said that the reason why this guy shot him is because he wasn't, according to what they said, that he wasn't right-wing enough, that Charlie Kirk wasn't right-wing enough.
Right. That's, I guess, leading up to his murder, there was a beef, online beef, like a squabbling between Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. Now, no one is saying that's what the main thing was, because none of us know. MAGA, you don't know. Left, you don't know. What both sides keep throwing out of the freaking common sense discussion is no one fucking knows yet. The facts have not been laid in front of us for us to analyze all the way yet. So you gotta fucking clear your head on this shit. Go ahead, Stacey.
The only thing they know that is fact is that he was registered to vote with no party affiliation and he never voted. Those are facts. So
yeah, he didn't identify as a Democrat, he didn't identify as a libertarian, he didn't identify as a Republican. So just because we have right now the basic facts, like I said, his family was a heavily conservative, MAGA supporting family. Okay? That don't mean shit. That don't. I know people who are steeped in a MAGA family, but they're not. So again, both sides have to fucking shut the fuck up, because it's making a lot of shit worse. And this is where I'm going to give it to my associate that's in the room, who's been waiting ever so patiently, because, well, he's got a lot to say on the subject, and quite frankly, you'll see why I can't say anything, because he's going to touch on it instead. So I'm going to step to the side for a second, and I'm going to let him take over. I will tap him on the shoulder if you have to interject, Stacey, because if you think I hoard and monopolize conversations, this guy won't shut the fuck up. I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked he's kept silent this much.
Okay.
So, do you want me to give your real name, or do you want to remain anonymous? I don't give a fuck. Okay. All right, so we're going to call him... You want an anonymous and an alias or something like that? Okay, fine. Mr. Noodles, take it away.
Hey, Mr. Noodles.
Who the fuck are you?
Your friend's pain in the ass.
Get the fuck out. Anyway. Okay. You guys pretty much covered it up nicely. The guy didn't deserve to die. However, I have something to say. Listen, guys, and I'm talking to you in Washington. The man didn't deserve to die, but he does not deserve a day of fucking remembrance. The man was not Rosa Parks. He was not MLK. He wasn't a former president that did things to shape this country. He got on a microphone and just clickbaited college students into debating his ass. Poorly at that. Now, I don't like the man. I don't. How I'm going to remember him? 2 words, South Park. Man did not deserve to die, but he does not deserve a day of remembrance. And you know what else? You know what else?
What else?
People don't deserve to lose their fucking jobs over their fucking opinion of the matter.
Correct.
You've got... Boy, you weren't shitting. She interrupts at the drop of a fucking hat. Anyway, you have these fucking Republicans, Pam Bondi, J.D. Vance, and all these other bootlicking, Dorito-sucking, off the testicles of an orange mango dickless wonder. You have all these people saying if they hear anyone celebrating, show me one person that celebrated. If you show me that, then I will show you my left butt cheek, and it's quite simply attractive. Anyway, you have these assholes calling for the termination of people who criticize Charlie Kirk like he was the fucking Messiah. Fuck, there was a religious dude on Fox and Friends talking about how Christ basically would have loved Charlie Kirk. Are you fucking serious? Someone's been drinking Sacramento wine a little too much. J.D. Vance saying if you hear anyone criticize Charlie Kirk, go to their job and have them fired. Fine, you Ottoman fucking dick shit. We'll start with you. You were critical of him, but let's not pop those facts up. Facts are facts. If they fit into your narrative. Then you got Pam Bondi saying they're going to go after people. They're going to go and use the internet to their advantage, get you kicked off of social media, which might actually be good in most cases. And again, get people fired, and or, I don't know if this is true. If anyone can correct me, I would appreciate it. But actually get people maybe even arrested. Now, if that's true, fuck off. All the way off. I live on 111 Banana Lane. Come and get me. I could use a stretch in the jug. Anyway. Then you have, and I'm sure these two will continue it on at some point, Jimmy Kimmel comes on and talks about it was a bad day in Magaland because they were hoping that the shooter was somebody from the other side. Turns out it was a white boy from Utah who loved guns. That was the offensive part? Really? See, I have a working theory. This is my theory. See, he wasn't fired for that. He wasn't. He was fired because the thing that happened right afterward was they had Jimmy Kimmel say, and it looks like President Trump is still grieving. And they cut to a clip of him on the White House lawn. And a reporter asks him, Mr. President, how are you holding up after these last few days, after the death of your friend? And this is what that fat fuck said. He goes, oh, I'm holding up all right. And as you can see over there, the trucks are rolling in to pour out the concrete for the ballroom. Folks, the reason why Jimmy Kimmel got fired is because he showed and embarrassed Trump for not actually fucking giving a shit about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was nothing more than a fucking tool to him. A means to justify, or whatever that fucking Hey, you, the one with the glasses, you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the ends to justify the means, or the means to justify the ends?
Ends to justify the means.
Thank you. Anyway, he didn't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. He doesn't give a shit about anyone. And then the other reason why Jimmy Kimmel got fired is because the company that basically, Nexum, blah, blah, blah. Folks, I don't read. I watch TV. I swing on a tire and I eat bananas. But I digress. They were trying to get a loophole, so they could have a monopoly of stations. And they needed the FCC's approval. Gee, how convenient that after Trump celebrated Colbert's show being canceled in the year, he said Kimmel was next.
Yep.
You want to talk about bullshit? Bullshit! Freedom of speech was something Charlie Kirk advocated. And this is what you're doing to honor his memory? This actually goes against what he was talking about. So, on that note, and I'm going to shut up now because, quite frankly, I could talk all fucking day, and God knows I can't. But, y'all need to get your shit together. You humans? Talking to you. Right there. I'm talking without moving my lips. I'm a ventriloquist, don't you know? Anyway, you guys need to get your shit together because shit is getting fucking ugly. You don't have to like Charlie Kirk. You don't. You can condemn the actions of what happened to him, but you don't have to like him, and you can't be fired for not liking him. I allot my time. I'm going to go get a beer. Because I can drink. That asshole can't, but I can. So, sayonara. And remember, you can't fire me. I swing on a tire and eat bananas. And you can't fire these two ladies either. Free speech is invoked. Yes, what you say can have consequences. However, only if they are hurtful or hateful, even though hate speech is covered. I don't know why, but it is. So, I carry on.
Bye, bye, Mr. Noodles. You know,
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. Sounds like he's on a tirade today.
I think he needs his diaper changed.
You know, he reminds me of a saying that it's very true. I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to my death your right to say it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that line from the American president.
Yeah.
You can defend that which you would argue tooth and nail with.
Yes.
Because everyone has that right. I mean, let's draw an analogy here. When Hulk Hogan died, you want to talk about conflicting opinions, but no one was going for people's jobs over that opinion.
Right.
And again, cannot stress this enough. I haven't heard one single person on Twitter, any kind of social media, celebrate his death. No one. No. The only thing they have said that is in the contrary is quoting some of the things that he has said in the past, and while they don't think he deserved to die the way he did, they're not exactly going to be lining up to go to his wake or anything like that.
The most shocking thing I heard someone say, and it wasn't that, it was like this guy didn't deserve it, but they're not surprised.
Well, I think honestly, if there's anyone who was not surprised, it was him himself. He has gone on record and said, when it comes to guns and gun violence and all that stuff, in order to continue to protect the Second Amendment, to keep it invoked, you have to have a certain amount of gun violence to justify why we need it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. Don't come at me.
That is what he said, yes.
So, is it ironic? Yes. I refuse to talk ill of the guy, even though there's a lot of things you could say that would definitely paint a picture. But as I said for Hulk Hogan, I'm not here to talk ill of the man. He did it enough himself. Which brings me to The Rock's daughter, who is, I believe, one of the oh God, what position does she hold in NXT?
What is AXT?
Huh?
What is AXT?
NXT. It's it's an offshoot of the WWE.
Okay.
Anyway, when he had passed, and again, people online are saying these things, she said, if you want people to talk good about you in death, maybe you should talk good in life. Like, and I'm butchering it. Really, I am. But basically, if you want people to talk well about you after you pass away, you should be doing things while you're still alive that are good.
Yeah.
So, and people were coming after her. Now, she's not changing anything, which kudos to her for taking a stance. She's not losing her job, unlike Jimmy Kimmel, who I heard was possibly suing Disney for $1 billion for wrongful termination. And then I also heard another story where they're saying they're open to bringing him back, but he would have to cool the temperature of how he talks about current events. And I'm thinking to myself, that's still censorship. If I were Jimmy Kimmel, I'd sue, I'd win, and then I would open up my own show that would be streamed somewhere on some platform and be like, no.
Yeah, make your own, your own platform like the Mango Menace did. Make your own, television studio, station, your own network.
Can't do that without the FCC.
Well, you can go on to another network who's sympathetic.
And he'll target them next, and he'll bend the knee and all that other jazz. No, what I was thinking of is something along the lines of like YouTube. Because while YouTube, I believe, is based in the United States, they're global.
Yeah.
And as long as he adheres to their rules, like he did adhere to the contract he had signed with ABC and Disney to not say the seven things you can't say on live TV, then what's the problem?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to get to your thoughts on this in just a second. But actually, no, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When is enough enough? And when I ask you it in that light, let me put a little spin on it. It was bad enough when they were going after the, making jokes of Nancy Pelosi's husband. That was fair game. It was fair game when that guy went after the senator in Minnesota. That was fair game. Charlie Kirk gets killed, tragically. And now it's all off the table. So let me ask a question. When is enough enough? Because I remember clear as day when this happened, someone I know was very upset that he got murdered. And if that doesn't give you any indication of which way they lean, I'll continue.
Well, that old saying, sticks and stones, well, not sticks and stones, but basically it's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt.
People keep getting hurt.
Well, here's the thing. It was people on the other side. Senator or Melissa Hortman and her husband, and their dog, in the middle of the night, and then turns around then he goes and shoots another elected official and his wife, and they survive. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the wife, that person's wife, got shot shielding their child, saving their child's life. And they lived, but she took a bullet for her child. And that, DJT had nothing to say about that. Even though this was an elected official, he did not even call the governor because Waltz was a former opponent. But he didn't even call to offer sympathies. The flags were not flown at half staff for her. Probably in Minnesota, and Minnesota would be the only place, not nationally. Melissa Hortman did not have a riderless horse or a horse-drawn procession, a la the way that John Kennedy did. That what made me the most upset was the riderless horse. That is reserved for the military. Kirk was never in the military. He was a podcaster, basically. He was a podcaster, and he was an influencer. He
College dropout.
Yeah, college dropout, a debater. I don't know if he's a master debater, but see, now
No.
that's a bad joke. And probably not a good time to do it. Sorry. But these things that are, I mean, and first of all, I'm going to just say, tomorrow is his funeral, and it's at not Sun. It's the place where Arizona Cardinals play.
They're having it in the stadium?
Yes, a full stadium.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Full stadium. And here's the monumentally stupid thing in this administration. What just happened to Charlie Kirk? You're going to put the president and vice president in the same place? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Well, I'm just going to say that right now. Stupid idea. I'm just going to say it's a stupid idea. Even though they said that, was it Pete Hegseth and Cash Patel? They said there's going to be at Homeland Security. There's going to be security there on the level of the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's what they said. Now, and then Kimmel goes on, and he doesn't say that what happened to Kirk was a good thing. He said it was a bad thing. In fact, every person I heard comment on it who was considered on the left said it was a horrible thing. And it was. It would be the extreme left-wing people that want to dance on their grave. But like you said, he was a father. He was a son. He was a husband. No one deserves to die like that. That's horrible. But as I said, it's very naive of people to think that you can say whatever you want right now and avoid any repercussions. Words have consequences. And if you say things enough that's going to rile up the wrong people, eventually you're going to reach the wrong person who may try to do something like that. And that's, it's got, I mean, you're playing percentages, and sometimes the house wins. And not saying that this was a good thing. It was not a good thing, but he went out there a number of times. From what I understand, all he had was his own little security detail. There was no other security detail from either police or anything else. And yes, Dawn.
Well, I wanted you to finish, but come back to me in a second, because about the security detail.
Okay. Now, that one guy who, and they didn't have anybody up, they didn't even have anybody with drones. You'd think that after what happened in Pennsylvania in July with DJT, that somebody would at least have drones in the air to kind of watch the area. I mean, at the very least, he didn't have that. But that guy who was the head of the Proud Boys that got pardoned said that he is going to reinstate the Proud Boys, and he is going to make sure that they are at every event where somebody needs protection. And it's for damn sure that if they had been there with Charlie Kirk, this wouldn't have happened. That's what he said.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing up the security detail, or piggybacking on what you said about security detail, is I didn't bring a tinfoil hat for this. So take this with a grain of salt, whichever. I am just relaying a theory that I heard that actually sounds bizarrely credible. Now, again, not saying anyone specific had a hand in this. No one knows the facts yet. Not all of them. So, the fact that there was a lead up right before this happened between Fuentes, and I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I don't give a fuck, he's an asshole, and Kirk, okay? People were showing a lot of different things and angles of when it happened. And one that was telling, that was bizarre to me. And when I saw someone comment on it, I'm like, I noticed that, but I didn't really think about it. At the time, right before it happened, there's two individuals standing right behind him. And I'm presuming they're either A, his assistants, B, security, or C, maybe they were, I don't know, staff for the actual university. Hard to say who the hell they were. So, and I know I'm gonna be saying this a lot. Don't take what I'm about to say as fact. It's a theory that I saw that seemed to make you question certain things. And this is at the time when people were like, well, whoever this person was a crack shot because it was from 200 yards with a wind and this, that, the other thing. So it had to have been a sharpshooter. 17-year-old, 18-year-old, or however old kid.
Yeah,
Okay.
22. Yeah.
There you go. So they showed the angle seconds before it happened, where he's answering that question of what he thinks about mass shooters and whatever not, or gun violence. And one of them made it looked like he was signaling someone to steal third.
And touched his hat. Yeah.
Exactly. And then as soon as he was done, the other guy does a slightly different hand signal. And the minute his one hand went down, that's when the shot went off. Now, again, I don't prescribe into conspiracy theories. Sometimes it's 98% of the time they're strictly bullshit. But 2% of the time, they get lucky.
Yeah.
But it just seemed weird to me that happened in that succession. It's almost like literally they were giving the go-ahead. Again, I'm going to say this because I do not want to open my front door and have the FBI, CIA, MTG on my porch, calling for my head. I don't think that's what happened.
Right.
It just seemed very odd and coincidental that it happened. Okay? So, if you're going to have the Proud Boys now come in like the Hells Angels offering security at, what was that, Altamont?
Yeah, Rolling Stones, yeah.
We're all fucked.
Yeah. So I got sent a video that showed Charlie Kirk from his left side with the two guys behind his right shoulder, another person standing right outside the pop-up tent, and you see him talking, and you see the guy in the black shirt or the white shirt with the hat touch his arm, then touch his hat. And then the guy in the
Which could have been just something as simple as he was just touching.
Yeah, he could have just been adjusting his hat. I'm just telling you what he did. Another guy in black shirt then touched his hand or his arm and put his hand down. And as soon as you see that, if you look at the guy, and this was, I don't know if this was altered, if this is a real video, but this guy was standing there and you see his hand jerk up really quick and down, almost like he was shooting a pistol. And then like a second after that, he slumps over to the left. Now, it was just a video that was sent to me. There's no, there's no credibility that I know of this. It's something from a different angle. I don't think that that guy on the right shot him, because the video that I saw within an hour and a half of the shooting came from the left front. Whoever it was basically got his jugular or whatever artery that is.
The carotid.
The carotid artery, because, and I'm sorry for people who want to avoid, plug your ears for the next minute if you don't want to hear this. But it shot out like a fountain. He had to have bled out in less than a minute. I know that he died on the way to the hospital, but I mean, I saw that and I'm like, there is no way someone's going to survive that. So it was shocking, but if someone had been shot from the back, you would have seen more of a wound come through the neck. So, it's just, all these people are like, oh, well, it couldn't have been the person on the roof because, they had to shoot down and they had to shoot through the awning. And I do know that this guy who, confessed to his mom and dad that he did it, has hunted since he was a kid. And I knew whoever it was, especially when I knew right away it was going to be a young person who could fit in with the crowd. And I knew it was going to be someone who had handled a gun for a while. So if you're that young and you've handled a gun for a while, maybe you've had some military training. I highly doubted it. 200 yards is not far for a hunter. And he had been hunting with his dad since he was a kid. And my theory was bolstered even more when they found the gun. It was a bolt action gun, which is what hunters use. So at least I'm sorry for the people out there hunting. You don't need to hunt a deer with an Uzi. A 30-aught will be just fine. You don't need to blow its guts out. You're trying to, treat the animal with some respect. But, there's, like you said, there's so many conspiracy theories out there. And, I was in the middle of the Caribbean. Okay. I was on a ship in the Caribbean Sea, and I even heard about it. Everybody's phones were lighting up. It was really weird. I looked down and everybody's looking at their phone at the same time going, what the hell? I'm like, I'm trying to avoid the news this week. And so I pick it up and I'm like, son of a bitch. I can't even take a cruise, I mean, yeah, it's bad. I would rather him be alive and me enjoy my cruise. Sorry. Okay, so yeah. And then for, like you said, Jimmy Kimmel getting canned like that, it's because the first person that, after the FCC spoke, first people who contacted ABC and said, hey, we're going to pull this guy. We're going to preempt him. We're going to pull him. So he'll be off all our stations. They need permission for an FCC merger. They need permission from the FCC for a merger. The other one, I can't remember what that one was, but the other was Sinclair Broadcasting. They also said it. So people were out there Thursday protesting at the Disney studios, at the ABC studios, and they were protesting. And yesterday, at the local ABC affiliate near that place, someone shot 3 rounds into a window. So I don't know if that's connected. It would be very, very coincidental if it was just, oh, well, there's a window, I'm going to shoot it. And that was an ABC station. People take their comedy pretty serious, and they're attacking free speech.
Let's not presume that someone shot into the window that was taking, extreme measures about the whole situation.
Right.
Let's
could be a coincidence.
let's a heavy one, but still.
Yeah.
But let's bounce into a couple of things before we can start moving on, maybe to happy things, because there's like I said, so much shit.
Yeah.
But let me get your opinion on because we're going to segue it real quick. So let me get your opinion on the. I don't know what level in the Catholic organization he is, going on Fox and Friends and basically calling Charlie Kirk a martyr and basically Christ-like, I guess, if you will. He adhered to all Christ's teachings and blah, 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 blah. What are your opinions on that?
Okay. Like I said, I work for a church. And I work for a very progressive church, but I have believed my entire life that Jesus would be accepting of everyone and not turn a single person away from his table. And if someone was a sinner and they confessed to know him and love him, Jesus even said, love thy enemies, pray for your enemies. Pray for the people who have nothing, pray for the sick, pray for the homeless, and pray, feed, love your neighbor, even if they don't believe what you say, even if they don't believe what you believe. And he says, because I will, I was there, and do this, and one person said, well, Jesus, we never saw you at any of these places we did. And he said, I'll tell you, the least that you do for them, you do for me. Unfortunately, I don't think Charlie Kirk was that kind of Christian. I believe he loved his family. He confessed, he professed to have Christian values, but I don't think that he was a love thy neighbor type Christian where he's willing to accept everybody's, it doesn't matter the way you love. It doesn't matter the way you dress. Jesus didn't eat with the rich and the faithful. Jesus ate with the sinners, the adulterers, the prostitutes, the lame. And because he showed them mercy, they followed him and made their life better. So I don't mean to get on, my soapbox, but like I said, I believe that he believed he was. In my eyes, though, I will pray for him. I will pray for his soul and hope that, the world that he entered is better than the one he left. Wouldn't be hard to be. And I will pray for his children, or who are far too young to really, when they grow up, they're really not going to remember their dad. And my heart breaks for that. The wife is a little scary. I pray for her, but I've heard her talk. I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm going to leave that alone. She's a grieving widow, and I will pray for her too. But I don't believe, it's kind of like, the Princess Bride. You keep saying that word. I do not think it means what you think. It's just not, you know what I mean? I don't think it means what you think it means, but that's what I believe. Like I said, I believe that he believed it.
Right. What are your quick feelings on the fact that now several Democrats decided to vote in time with it as well to make, what was it, October 14th? Or is it October 10th? The official day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. And also add in, how did you feel hearing about several NFL football games taking a moment of silence.
Oh. Politics needs to stay out of sports and religion. They need to stay out of sports and religion. And having a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk smacks of hypocrisy, because how often has Trump said, why do we have a Martin Luther King Day? Why do we have a Martin Luther King Day? We're not observing Juneteenth anymore. Why are we observing Juneteenth? Yet he didn't say, okay, well, July 16th or July 17th, we're going to have a National Day of Remembrance for Melissa Hortman and her family. They were elected officials that did a lot of good. She was, I think, Speaker of the House at one time in Minnesota. She did a lot of good. Yes, she made a lot of enemies and said some, I understand, some things that were considered controversial to Republicans. Why doesn't she get her own day? It was an absolute known MAGA person that shot her. It's just pure hypocrisy.
Okay. So let's bounce off to one more thing about pure hypocrisy. With Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension, days prior to that happening, on Fox and Friends, you had a debate on the couch over the homeless situation in, I think they were talking about Washington, D.C. And the one anchor was saying, you've got some homeless people who don't want the help. They're refusing the help. I mean, what do you do with these people? And what was his name again?
Brian Kilmeade.
Okay. Decides to say, he's when the one anchor says we could have them arrested, or we could have, put them into sanitariums. Kilmeade says, living up to part of his name, or we could just kill them and, give them involuntary lethal injection.
Yep.
And there wasn't even a bat of the eye. There wasn't even a, whoa, Brian, whoa. Nothing. Now, as you said, he had apologized days later.
Yeah.
However, in between those times, there were, if I'm not mistaken, 2 homeless encampment areas where, homeless people gathered and they had their little tents and whatever, were shot up and people died. Now, again, to my knowledge, no one knows if the shooter was inspired by those words. No idea. Yet, Kilmeade still has his job.
Mm-hmm.
He literally said, why don't we just kill them? And people actually are now dead. Coincidence? Yeah, maybe. But why does he still have his job?
Right.
And Jimmy Kimmel, for just pointing out that Trump basically just does not give a shit about Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
Lost his, and not only Jimmy Kimmel, let's not forget, it's not just Jimmy Kimmel who lost his job. He had a staff. He had, people on that show.
Mm-hmm. His own cousin works with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so his family has lost their job too.
So how in the fuck does that make sense? How?
Like I said, hypocrisy. Just pure and simple.
Yeah, if you're MAGA or Republican, the rules apply to thee, not me.
Right. And the FCC guy said, he's like, hey, well, he was saying that, the Republicans were killing people and that we just can't have that. It's like, okay, where were you when that guy said that on Fox? When Brian Kilmeade said, well, we'll just kill him with lethal injection. Why don't we just kill them with lethal injection? It's like, whoa, wait a minute, Well, then it's like, oh, well, that was his opinion. Okay, so opinions are okay, but someone pointing out a fact is not. Where the hell are we coming to? And it's not even like he said, like, okay, like Jimmy Kimmel got up there and just repeated what Trump said. He actually showed the video to prove that's what he said. And boom. Yeah, I don't want to go off on Trump right now. So
well, let's start getting into the lighter
yes,
side, because
like
I mean, I'm pretty sure both of us could get our blood pressures pretty elevated with this subject alone. But let's try to get it a little lighthearted, but kind of keep with one more thing about the old yam tits. He just got back, I believe, from the UK, where he had a state dinner. He was treated. Oh my God. You know he's going to order a golden carriage. You know it. It's coming.
Oh yeah.
But he was given basically the royal treatment. Way to go, Chuck. Way to go. But what cracked me up, I thought it was a joke at first. And turns out this was very true, because understand, when I say a joke at first, they showed Chuck, King Chuck, and old Yamtit standing there, and they're playing the Imperial March.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are they for real? But no, that did not happen. But this did. As they're standing there, and the horses pass by, right when this one horse got to Donald Trump, its tail was in the air and it dropped shit in front of Trump.
Even the horse has an opinion. I love it.
I mean, I thought it was brilliant when they were posting like not only life size, but like giant banners on the grounds of Windsor Castle and onto the walls of him and Epstein.
Oh my God.
And all that. But no, that horse gave probably the best fuck you to DJT than anybody could.
Yep, they probably fed him at just the right time.
And what kills me about that whole UK state dinner and all that stuff is old Yamtits likes to say, I don't need a teleprompter. Well, clearly you're not a good speech person unless it's at a rally where all you have to do is open your mouth and just let it go and talk about Arnold Palmer's dick. Because the entire time he's giving his speech, this is him. And like a kid reading a book report in high school. Not looking up once. And you're watching people's faces like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. And whose brilliant idea was it to sit Princess Kate next to him? Her skin was probably, I know mine, my skin would have been crawling. You know that he told her, they had lip sync or lip readers. He shook her hand and said, "You're very beautiful." Ugh. And I will say this, and like I said, I will call it, I'll give credit where credit is due, or defend people even I don't like. People are like, oh, he didn't curtsy to the queen, he didn't bow to the king and queen, he didn't bow to the, that is not required when you meet the king and queen. If you like to do the formal, you bow your head like that, or you curtsy, but it's even more well accepted to shake their hands. And people are like, oh, well, he was walking in front of the king, just like he was walking in front of the queen, 5-6 years ago. It is permissible during state events for the leader of the foreign country to walk at the head. And I will say that. People were blowing up about that. And I got upset first. And then I read about it. I'm like, okay. I looked at the BBC because I trust them. They're not Republican or, I'll listen. And they're like, yes, it is permissible to shake hands Some people are more formal, but it's just as fine to shake hands as it is to bow or curtsy. So, but yeah, I think, what did they say it was, was it 120 people at that table?
About,
A
yeah.
long fucking table. Yeah, I didn't see any food. I saw lots of gold and lots of flowers. I didn't see any food, but I would have needed to see a lot of rum or wine, because
Yeah. I just looked at that whole thing and went, so you have, I mean, let me back it up. It came out like, I want to say about a month and a half ago, about a time where I guess Donald Trump was on Howard Stern. He talked about how him and Jeffrey Epstein had a bet about who would bang Princess Diana first.
yeah.
Do you think that came up in conversation with Chuck?
Oh boy.
Because Chuck would have been like, well, actually, I banged her before either of you. Sorry, Camilla. That kind of thing. But anyway, to sum up, the one thing I will say in a slight tone of bravery, because I don't want to lose my job over having an opinion.
Right.
No one wants to lose their job over an opinion.
Right.
I will say this, folks. Charlie Kirk definitely would not have liked me.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have gotten, shot and or murdered in some other way, he wouldn't have thought twice about someone like me. Because I'm gay. I'm also a woman. I know, contrary to how it looks. But, and for people listening on Spotify, what do you mean how it looks? I can't see you, asshole. But the point is he would not have given two shits about me. But like you, while I'm agnostic though, I will pray for this situation to show some sort of light onto where we really need to be, and not in a civil war like a lot of MAGAs were calling for, not to put Charlie Pedestal onto a mount of sainthood, and most importantly, not to retaliate in a negative or harmful manner. We need to learn from this experience that yes, words do have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And of all people, Charlie Kirk knew that.
The only thing I ever heard him say that I do agree with is that in order for this country to heal its divide, you have to have people coming together to debate. Now, I will add to that, when you come to debate, both sides have to have an open mind and a willingness to see the other's points and to learn from each other. We are never going to heal if we just devolve into conspiracy theories and name calling, and this happens on both sides. This happens on both sides. We do. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, I love history. I read history a lot. I watch a lot of historical documentaries. This country has never been so divided since before the Civil War.
Yeah.
And
this is also
coming. It is coming to a head. It needs to stop. Somebody with cooler heads needs to prevail and say, hey,
the ironic thing is,
yeah,
the cooler head can't come from the left.
No, it has to come from the right.
It absolutely has to come from somebody on the right side politically, because you could have someone from the left who has a sparkling record.
Mm-hmm.
They could be a 4-time decorated war veteran. They could have had the cure for all known diseases, but because they're from the left, they're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
It literally has to be somebody from the right that says, we need to stop. The closest we came to it was that Utah Senate, it's not senator, the governor.
Mm-hmm.
But even he still said stuff that was kind of like,
Yeah.
but that was the closest we got to somebody on the right saying, enough.
Yeah.
Instead of fanning the flames, adding gasoline, it has to be somebody from the right to say enough is enough. That's why I asked the question, when is enough enough? I really don't like where things are heading. I'm trying this weird little thing called being optimistic, but you know, I hate to be the one to say I'm right, but I said things are going to get really fucking dark before it gets better.
Yeah.
And this is about as dark as it's going to. I don't think it's not going to get darker, but it's definitely dark, really fucking dark right now.
Yeah.
So my last parting shot on all this is you do not have to like somebody and their beliefs. You don't even have to respect them. But you have no rights to silence them either.
Right.
And that's where I'll leave off on it.
Okay. Yep.
Now, just one real update from a story we had a couple of, I believe it was the last show. Did we talk about Raja Jackson and the wrestler on the last show?
Yes.
I believe we did.
Yeah.
He's finally been arrested.
Finally. Good.
I don't know exactly what all the charges were. I know one of them was intent to commit harm. Doing a violent act in front of children, I think, was one of them, or something similar.
Was aggravated assault in there at least?
It might have been. I didn't get all the details. It was like a real quick 10-second blurb, and they didn't list all the things.
Okay.
But yeah, he was arrested, I believe, on Friday.
Okay.
So we'll see where it goes. They don't even know yet if Psycho Stu, is going to press charges, but it doesn't even matter if he presses charges or not.
Right.
He was arrested for the other charges.
Yep.
Now, chances are, I'm not going to say it's going to be a slap on the wrist, but I don't think he'll get anything like 20 years in prison or 10 years. And I think the only way he would get anything close to that is if Stewart pressed charges. But yeah, he has been arrested. We'll see where it plays out with that. And for those who are new and listening, Raja Jackson is the son of MMA legend Rampage Jackson, who during an independent wrestling show, after getting hit in the head with an empty beer can under a misunderstanding, decided to take his temper out on the individual and almost kill him in the ring.
Yeah.
So there's that. So moving on, it was, when is your birthday exactly? We're recording on what, the 20th?
Yep. My birthday is September 27th. It's a week from today.
Okay, so when this airs, it'll still be almost your birthday. So happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Stacey, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You just came back not that long ago from a cruise.
Yes.
Where the weather was permitting.
Oh my God. It was nice. 4 nights Caribbean on the Wonder of the Seas. And my best friend, and the the first day, of course, cruising. The second day, we were at Coco Cay, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. It's a Royal Caribbean's private island. I sprang for the adults only hideaway club, the deluxe drink package, which worked even on land. So I remember going into work last Tuesday, looking at the clock, seeing 9:05, and I almost burst into tears because just a week prior, I was on a beach in the Bahamas with a rum runner in my hand. And now here I am typing away, reading emails, that 15 days worth of emails, and not being a very happy person. I was kind of cranky. I'm like, "Geez, can you do this?" I'm going to need 6 hours, please come back tomorrow. But it was fine. They took it easy on me, thankfully. But it was so much fun. The cruise, because it left out of Miami, and the first day was Coco Cay in the Bahamas, and then the next stop was NASA, because it's right close to each other. The boat never went above 11 knots, which is about 12 miles an hour. Never went above 12 miles an hour. So you didn't get the rocking. The only time you ever felt the ship really move was when they changed course. And this ship was huge. Basically, it was only 50 feet shorter than the Empire State Building on its side. So, and it's very wide. In fact, it's so wide that in the center of the ship, they have something called Central Park, which is a park. There's trees and everything like that, and there's stores off of it, and there's this really cool bar called the Rising Tide, and you could start off on the 8th floor, and then on the half hour they will close it off, and you'll descend into the ship down to the 5th floor, and then you can have some more drinks, and then another half hour they'll raise it back up. It is so cool. The one time we went in to do that, we're on the 5th floor, and we're like, yeah, let's take the ride up. So we're sitting there, we're drinking, we come up and go out, and it's like, oh, problem with open parks on ships. It rains sometimes down there in the Caribbean, and it was raining when we went out. So, but they have a solution for that too, because they have buckets next to the doors. They have umbrellas that you can borrow. They also have a boardwalk. There's like different neighborhoods. So you have Central Park, you have this boardwalk, which there's the arcade, there's a full-size merry-go-round, a carousel, hot dog vendor, which was awesome. Oh, I had many, many hot dogs. I love hot dogs. They also have the rock climb. Shut up. Now shut up, you. Anyways, they have rock climbing walls, and they have this thing called the Aqua Theater, where at night they have this show called Intense, which is really, really cool. They have Olympic divers, which dive from the top of the ship down into this pool. And I can imagine that it would be harder if the ship was going faster than what it was. But it was still really cool. And they have people that came out above the audience and doing all these different things. And then, at Coco Cay, it was really nice until people started seeing jellyfish in the water, and everybody came out. But it was hot. I really need to rethink. I'm not going back again in September, because it was like 90 degrees and 80% humidity. And, fat girls don't like heat. So by 10:30, I was back on the ship. Sean still had like an hour and a half kayak ride that he was going to be doing, and he was enjoying the island. I went back on the ship. I took a shower, went up to the Windjammer buffet, had a quick lunch, and took myself a really nice 2-hour nap. It was so nice. We were still in port, so everything was still, and all the air conditioning I could possibly want. And then they had the Johnny Rockets on board too. So that's what we had for dinner. So I got to have my Johnny Rockets burger. So that was,
I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, it was really cool. But I mean, you couldn't turn the corner without finding a bar or a restaurant. They had this thing called the Bionic Bar, where you put your order in this iPad looking thing. And these robot arms come down and make your drink for you and bring it out to you. Now, they're messy and they don't always get it right. It's just kind of funny to watch them like, okay, what can't they screw up? I'm like, Captain and Coke. The lime flew here, the rum flew there. I'm like, this is just entertaining. You know, they got like probably 2 ounces of rum in it when it was only supposed to be a half ounce. Like I said, we got the drink package, and I think I counted 37 drinks over the course of 4 nights, 5 days. That includes mimosas, though. We have mimosas in the morning. But I will tell you, except for one time when we went down to a little pub the night that he and I dressed up, he put on a suit. I had this nice, you know, chiffon pantsuit on. It looked really cool. That night I had 2 old fashions. Okay. That was the only time I caught a buzz the entire time. I don't think they put much alcohol in any of the drinks, because I did not get buzzed once. And it, you know, it was crazy because it wasn't just me that was noticing it. Like the rum runners, they had them already in the mix. And if that's what you wanted, that was the special of the day. They bring out the big jug and they put the ice and they pour it in and add the garnishments, and there you go. I was almost like, you want to put a shot of white rum in there for me? You're just, you kind of top that sucker off, you know? But it was a lot of fun. Nassau was there was a sea day. And because, like I said, Nassau and Coco Cay are so close together, they went out from the Caribbean into the Atlantic Ocean and then cut back and then came back in. It was like a big triangle. And they came back in, and we got off the ship about 9:00. I did do research on Nassau, and I found 2 places I wanted to go to, the Pirate Museum and the rum distillery. We got off the ship, and it's already hot. It's 9:00, and it's already hot. It's already muggy. It's 85 degrees. And there's a guy there asking, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? I'm like, Pirate Museum. Okay, you go down here 2 blocks to this orange looking building, then make our left. Okay. Every place down there is orange. Every place down there is orange. So we get 2 blocks in, and I'm not seeing anything, and I see a Dunkin' Donuts, okay? I saw a Dunkin' Donuts, a Burger King, and a McDonald's all right there. But they're in like shops. It's not a regular building. It's like somebody's storefront. It's really weird. But we went into this. It was the first time I'd ever seen an armed guard in a Dunkin' Donut. And to get into the restroom, you had to be buzzed in. You had to ring a doorbell and they'd buzz you in. And then you see all these school kids in their uniforms, and they're going to the Catholic school just up the street. And that was cool to see. And I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a school year. It's September 11th and it's school year. So we found out where it was, and we figured out it would only be a block from where we were sitting. So we cut through. We see this big building covered in a tarp saying it's going to be fumigated. I don't want to know what for. But all I saw was Peligroso. Like, okay. Danger. And sulfur dioxide is what they were using. So I can look up and see what that's used for, but safe to say it was not okay to go in. So I did not see the Pirate Museum at that time. So I walk into the souvenir shop and I look around like, can you tell me where the Pirate Museum is? She shows us, oh, that building right there that's covered, but they're closed. I'm like, bitch, the only thing I really wanted to see here. It's the only thing I wanted to see. And so we got done. I'm like, you know what? I'm going back on the ship. There's nothing here. It's a shithole. NASA's a shithole. It really is. My mom told me afterwards, she's like, you needed to take a taxi to Paradise Island where Atlantis is. That's the nice place. That's where you want to go, and you could swim with the dolphins. I'm like, I could have swam with dolphins. How come that didn't show up? Um, although it probably wouldn't have been good, as whales don't swim with dolphins. So, anyways,
Actually, I do, but I digress.
anyways, but yeah, so we got back on the ship, and what they don't tell you on the cruises is that when you're in port, most of the bars are closed and most of the restaurants are closed. The Windjammer was open. And the pizza place was closed, but you could also order room service. Room service is free, but there's a fee, like a $7 fee to have it delivered, which is fine. But if you want to drink, you got to get off the ship. So that day we were like, forget it. We're going to go to the solarium, which is adult only. We put on our bathing suits and walk in there. They have a bar open. They have a bar up. I'm like, they don't have a pool. They've got a waiting pool. You can sit in it, which is fine. They had this one pool. I'm like, oh my God, that looks so nasty. It's so cloudy. Oh my God. Do they ever clean this? That's so nasty. So the one time, like, okay, well, they must have cleaned it. I get in and my legs started stinging. I had shaved my legs that morning. And I'm like, oh my God, why are my legs stinging? Then it hit me. It was a saltwater bottle. No, excuse me. It was a saltwater bottle. Okay, house, down. Go. All you guys, out. Sorry.
And this moment of silence was brought to you by Pound Puppies.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it was a saltwater pool, which is why it looked so cloudy. But what had happened, here's the bad part. This is going to be funny. In walking around, I chose poorly in my attire. I thought, the loose was going to be nice. So I got some nice loose pants. Well, the texture in that heat gets inside your legs was like sandpaper. By the time I got back to where the dock started, I couldn't walk anymore. I'm like, without walking like I just gotten off a horse. And we got up to the tram and it's like, this is for disabled passengers only. I'm like, I can't walk anymore. I think I count. Gave the guy $20 to drive us back. Like, here's $20. Please drive us back. We got back in. By that night, I had blisters on the inside of my thighs. It hurt so badly. And we had a comedy show to go to that night. And a steakhouse, Chop Steakhouse. Awesome, amazing steak. So I am so grateful to myself that I remembered to pack bike shorts to wear under my sundresses. I hadn't worn any up to this point. So I put the bike shorts on, which kept it from getting worse. And the material wasn't rubbing, so I could at least get through the night. But the next day, it's, we get off the ship and we get back to Miami and we're staying in a hotel that's literally right there on the water, right there from, across from Bayside Park. And again, I'm walking funny and it's like, it doesn't look good when you get off a ship with your best friend who's a guy and you're walking funny. And again, on Saturday, when we got to the airport, I had to wear the bike shorts underneath. So I have my bike shorts underneath and I have my loose pants on top over that. And we're sitting down and I can, basically, maintain for the moment. And then we get the meal. Because we were in first class. So we got the meal and I chose the short ribs. And they were very tender, fall off the bone, but they were in some kind of, you're in Miami, everything is Cuban. Everything is Cuban. Everything is Latino food, which is fine. I like it, but my stomach did not like it in flight. in freaking flight. And I am praying. I'm like, oh God, please no. The one thing you don't want to do on an airplane, I have no choice, but I've got to go. And I went in there. I was like the last person before we landed. And I'm in there and I'm literally sweating bullets. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. But here's the thing. I've got these layers of clothing on. I'm trying to pull down in time. I'm like, dear God, I'm trying to think, oh, I don't have any clothes in my carry-on. Oh my God, you just better get right. So, I'm like, oh my God. And you're pulling your pants down, but the cuffs up because you don't want the cuffs of your pants to touch the bathroom floor of a plain bathroom. It's nasty. And, oh my God. Oh geez. And then I thought I was going to be the last person in. The very nice female flight attendant came in right after me, and I'm like, oh dear God. Oh my God. So she came out, I didn't see anything on her face, but the male flight attendant went in. Very nice guy. He goes in. A second later, he comes out, grabs something from the cabinet, comes back in, and all of a sudden, I smell it. It's air freshener. I'm like, oh my God, I am so embarrassed. I'm like, oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then they sat down. And then as we're taxiing up to the gate, we stop because the gate crew hadn't gotten there yet to escort the plane in. So we have to wait. And my stomach starts to gurgle again. I'm like, oh no. I can't stand up. That's against federal law. I can't stand up. So I'm like sitting there. I'm starting to sweat again. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing my box breathing, like I'm trying to. And we were one of the first ones off after we waited for the people to connected flight. And I had saved this for me. I had gotten a Ghirardelli caramel filled chocolate bar. Big. I'd gotten that. I had been eyeing that baby all day. I felt so bad that I took that out of my bag. I gave it to the flight attendant and said, I have something for you. Here you go. He goes, oh, you don't have to. I said, no, please. I feel bad. Thank you for your service. He goes, Ghirardelli, thank you. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then we go downstairs and we're waiting for the luggage. And I'm that gurgle again. I'm like, Sean, you got to get our luggage. I'm going to the bathroom. By the time I came back out, he goes, yeah, our luggage is here, but you're missing a wheel. This is the second time in less than a year, Delta. Less than a year. First time you smashed up my really expensive suitcase that was supposed to be indestructible, but Delta destroyed it. And yeah, so anyways, I went back, got back to the hotel. It rained. We went to a restaurant, then flew back home. Last Saturday night, I got to meet Sean's new girlfriend, Michelle, who was very sweet. And her daughter was adorable. Her daughter's name, I'm not going to say her name, but her daughter is 8 years old and just adorable. And I had bought, because even though I'd never met them, I knew I was going to be meeting them. So I bought Michelle a coffee mug with it. I thought it was cute. It had a sea turtle on it, and then a flamingo with a Florida t-shirt on for her daughter. Because when you meet someone like that for the first time, it's always polite to, give a little gift, especially if you're on vacation with their boyfriend. So so we went out for Mexican food, and I didn't know this, but I guess sea turtles are one of Michelle's favorites. I didn't know. I just picked it up. So, but yeah, they were really nice. And, I also gave her the joke about, don't worry, I'm walking funny because of blisters, not because of anything that happened on the boat. But it was fun. For my birthday, I don't think I'm doing anything because I've got to move my mother-in-law to memory care on the 28th. So I spent most of today at her assisted living packing. So she insists she's not leaving. She is staying because she and her cousins have bought a house and that's where they're going. So I just had to tell her, okay, but we're here to take you to that house. But yeah, other than that, I'm not doing anything for my birthday. So last year I didn't even get a card. So my husband didn't even give me a card. I'm like, eh. Currently interviewing surrogate penises right now. Kidding. I'm kidding. We have 9 minutes.
19 minutes. 19 minutes on surrogate penises. Okie dokie.
8 minutes.
8 minutes, whatever. Well, that sounded action packed, but at least you didn't have any hurricanes or anything that you were like.
No, it disappeared. The day before, on Saturday, we got back. It went from being 90% certain to 70% certain. On Sunday morning, it went to 20% certain. And by the time we landed in Miami, it was gone. I'm like, my brain is the best. It was all in my mind. I did it. And now you have Tropical Storm Gabrielle. It's about to turn into a hurricane. So I'm good.
Nowhere near it. You're fine.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's see. What else is there for the remaining now probably 7 minutes?
What are you guys going to do for the weekend?
Try to recover for me. I know Amanda has gone through her second round of shots in the ear.
Oof.
I'm sure she'd rather tell it, but she was in a lot of agony on the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Everything they said wouldn't happen, happened.
Oh.
So I guess the second time around wasn't nearly as bad, but still not all that great.
Can she hear?
Which is fun when you got someone who can't talk loud right now.
Right.
And let me just put it this way. Like I said earlier, I'm on medication that makes me very susceptible. So if someone were to sneeze, I'm screwed. So I'm basically wearing a mask, sometimes even at home, just in case, because I would feel horrible with everything she's going through if she got it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's mostly for my protection.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I found it hilarious that I came back to my place of business and everyone hearing what I got must have gone through the entire facility because people would stare at me like, what are you doing here? You should be home. Not talking to me, mind you.
Uh-huh.
Just staring at me like I'm some kind of like science bug or something. And I'm just like looking at him like, what? Like you've never seen a person in a mask before. But yeah, basically nothing major happening here. I've been dying to get my damn yard work done, but it's hard to do when you can't really be strenuous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a weird feeling that my joke was, yeah, last week I was deadlifting 250. Now I'm trying to pick up a pen. So it's like, oh, you got to be kidding. And while I would say 60% better than I was, still, this fucking kicked my ass. I mean, if there's anything, I'm going to leave with a, shall we say, a public service announcement. Because if I would have realized what I was going through much earlier than when I did, I probably would be on a better road to recovery than I am. Mm-hmm. But because I thought in my head, I just had a really bad cold because it's the start of cold and flu season. You know? You don't expect to wake up and say, you know what, maybe I'll go see the doctor, and find out you have pneumonia. Okay? And what makes it worse is a lot of these things, the symptoms mirror each other. COVID mirrors pneumonia. Pneumonia mirrors flu. You get this. You get the pattern here. So it's really hard to. You shouldn't self-diagnose yourself anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Not everyone can afford to go to the doctor. Okay, but I still kick myself that I did not go on a Monday and get the diagnosis earlier and start getting treated with the steroids or whatever, instead of like just waiting until, like, I started feeling like hell on a Saturday night. And I didn't go to the doctor until Wednesday. So that's a long length of time of battling something.
Yeah.
You're just thinking it's just a plain cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that would be my PSA. Don't treat it as just something as simple as the sniffles. Don't treat it as something as simple as a common cold. It could be fucking anything nowadays because all the symptoms blur together.
Yep.
So that would be my parting shot. When's our next show?
Our next show is October 10th. After this show. It's October 10th.
Okay. So I might not be on that show for the recording anyway. It might be just you and Dee Dee. That ought to be fun. But yeah, I might be unavailable. I got to find out for sure. But I know there's going to be, depending on when our mandatory day of business at work has to happen, I might not be available for that one. We'll have to see. But yeah,
We could also do it on, we could also do it on, the next time we record is October 3rd or October 4th.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could also do it on a Sunday if we need to.
See, that's the one thing I have a love-hate relationship with all this, is I personally liked it better when we did it live, because then we could schedule it, and this is when we're doing it. It's live. Either we're there or not, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, oh, God, now we got to schedule recordings. Now it might infract with other shit, and da-da-da-da. Yeah, I'm being a funny duddy, but
you guys can go back. I mean, the Cave Radio now has an open studio again. You can go live at that time.
And people listening are like, oh, here we go. Now they're gonna quibble. If memory serves me correctly, I wasn't wild about changing to Friday nights anyway.
Right.
But to do it live would take away from some of the things I already usually earmark as a way to decompress. So that's why when I brought up off air via text or whatever, I'm amazed you guys got me to agree to a Friday night recording on a Joe Bob Briggs night is still astounding. But I think I was at that point, I'm just trying to be flexible, but I'm not going to be always that flexible, because I'm a creature of habit. I'm a creature of routine. Any deviation from that routine will make me like, what?
And,
So,
we can go back to a Saturday, live like we did. So the 11 to 1 or what? I don't think they have anybody on Saturdays anymore. So
which is what I always found to be kind of weird, because we got bumped from our original spot for a show out of Boston.
That's
and
no
then
longer on. Yeah,
and now we're on a Friday, and now they don't have a show on Saturday. Quite frankly, honestly, I don't even know if anyone listened to us on Saturday Live. So does it really matter? No.
I don't know.
But the only one who knows is Dan. He knows what the listening algorithms are, and who, how many people are listening live versus whatever.
We are out of time, so.
Yep. So wrapping it up. Maybe next week it's just my sister and Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Who knows? But until then, remember to borrow a line from Screaming Scott Randall of WCSX. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and God willing, we'll see you next time. Until then, I've been Dawn.
I'm Stacy.
Keep your rants in your pants.
Bye.
That's all, folks.